Hello and welcome back to another edition of the podcast. Today we're going to be answering a question about Snellen charts. I've put up a video called Improve Your Eyesight While Watching TV, which is basically a 10-minute video that you can watch on your TV that has a Snellen chart on it. So this is for practicing your Snellen chart while watching TV. For example, if you don't have a printer and you haven't got a Snellen chart put up on your wall at home yet, then you can use this video to practice active focus on your Snellen chart. So let's get into the question. The question is in the comment section of that video. So it says, thanks for sharing. What sort of distance do we need to be from the TV to benefit from this chart? Is the idea just to look at it and active focus the letters? Many thanks. Well, yeah, that's a good question, and perhaps I should have explained it a little bit more clearly within the video description. But yes, it is basically a Snellen chart, eye chart, to help you practice active focus. So the idea being, so what distance do you want to be from it? It doesn't matter really what distance, as long as you can achieve that little bit of the edge of blur that we talk about, and that's where you practice active focus to clear your vision up. So if I take this eye chart here, for example, this is the 2060 line, 2050 line, 2040 line. Imagine you're sitting on your sofa and you're looking at the TV, and you can read PDC clearly, and you can read LPED clearly, and then when you get to PECFD, it's a little bit blurry for you. You can read the letters, but they're not quite clear. Spend a bit of time looking at these, and you'll notice after a little bit of time that they might come into focus, go back out of focus, and that's why I put a 10-minute timer on the video. This duration is good for allowing your eyes just to adjust and to autofocus, if you like, on the letters. And then you can also challenge yourself and go down the letters, and these might be completely blurry, but go down D, E, F, P, O, T, E, C, and then after you do that, you can come back up to the line that you found a little bit blurry earlier and see if you notice any difference. So a lot of Snellen chart practice is to make mental notes and see how things change from the beginning of a session to the end of a session. You'll notice differences in the clarity of the image that you see if you're measuring like for like. So for example, the PECFD, if that seems clearer at the end of your session compared to the beginning of your session. You might notice as well that your eyes feel a little bit more relaxed, and that looking into the distance feels more fluid and normal. A lot of us spend many hours looking at phones or laptop screens, so just the act of focusing on something at a distance is quite alien for a lot of people. We can look into the distance, but actually drawing it into focus is another thing. So that is the purpose of this video, Improve Your Eyesight While Watching TV. It gives you a chance to practice using the Snellen chart and bringing images into clarity using active focus. In doing so, you can also make notes of how, if you've got one eye that's weaker than the other, get yourself an eye patch. So for example, you could break that 10 minutes into the first minute looking at the eye chart with both your eyes. Then you can patch one eye and then look at the chart for 3 minutes just using your right eye, for example. And then after 3 minutes, switch that patch over and cover your right eye, and then look at the chart with your left eye. And then after that, take the patch off, and then you've got 3 minutes left at the end, which you can use to, again, use binocular vision, 2 eyes, looking at the eye chart. And notice when you're doing all of this, how different your eyes feel, and you'll notice as well, because you're paying attention to what's going on, you'll notice how differently each eye sees. So, for example, in my case, this eye had a worse prescription for both myopia and astigmatism, whereas this eye had a better, I suppose, less of a prescription. So it was the stronger eye as such. And I noticed when I'm doing Snellen chart practice that this eye immediately brings things into focus. However, this eye takes a little bit longer to get things going. So when I'm patching, I might spend a little bit more time working on the right eye than my left eye. And I also noticed though, when this eye, which is my dominant eye, when I do bring things into focus and is clear, then the image that I see from this eye is actually much more clear, but it just takes a little bit more time to get to that point. Anyway, they're kind of more advanced concepts, but just in the beginning, using this eye chart is a very beneficial way just to get some practice in. So as a daily practice, this can be quite useful. Most people watch TV every day, so before you start your TV session, you can put on this video, Improve Your Eyesight While Watching TV, it's what it's called again, and do a little session for 10 minutes. Then watch TV, and I recommend, if you have done that, turn on the subtitles when you're watching TV and read the subtitles. And again, sit at a distance where the subtitles are a little bit blurry, but you can still read them and try and bring them into focus. And so maybe you watch a show that's 1 hour with subtitles on. So you've done 1 hour and 10 minutes in the day of active focus. And it's these little things that if you build into a daily habit, and whilst also paying attention to how your eyes feel, you can really make some gains and benefits. So I hope you found that useful. I'll see you in the next episode.